We have our first final on the track. Coming up next, it's the women's 5,000 meters. Some great names. Sprinkle the records, the best marks, the championship bests. Zebi Dababa, brilliant in Birmingham, the World Indoors this year. Here they come with the fireworks.
We're getting a big reception coming into the stadium from the crowd here in the home straight. We appreciate seeing these young ladies come out to do battle for the first title on offer here.
Well, there's a really good lineup. There's some really big names to look at. Some athletes who could well be battling it out. What should be a very, very good 5,000 meters final.
You just see them taking those very last sips of their water or whatever sort of dilutable drink they have in there. You know, keeping things the same calms the nerves a little bit. They'll get rid of the water bottles and they'll just get going for this final. Maybe 1 or 2 strides down the back straight.
The lineup includes Beatrice Chebet, the Kenyan champion, Sarah Chelangat, Helen Loban of Kenya as well. Look out for the Japanese athlete, Miku Murabayashi. And also Germawit Gebrezeher, the Ethiopian, looking for a 3,000, 5,000 double. It's a very strong lineup though. And a warm evening for them to take on 12.5 laps of this Tampere stadium. Big final then on this first night of competition.
On paper, the Kenyan Lebon is the fastest, but the Ethiopian athlete, Tay, your pronunciation's probably better, Tony.
Gebrezeher.
The Tay, T-A-Y-E.
Oh, I'd say as well,
Tay.
yes, yes.
She has actually beaten both Chebet and Lebon. So she will be a big, big threat here. And this is championship racing, you know. Who can make their move? Can you cover the move? Venter is the young American athlete. There's a lot of nerves out there.
There's a scan across the front of them. There is Murabayashi, Japanese under-20 champion. Just hits the top 10 in the world rankings this year. There's Helen Loban of Kenya. She's actually Japan-based. The world leader this year. Sarah Chelangat was 5th in Nairobi at the World Under-18s and over 3,000. Beatrice Chebet, 4th in Nairobi over 3,000 meters. With her and Chelangat featured at the Kasarani Stadium a year ago. A very rainy day in Nairobi when it was. It couldn't be a greater contrast here as the sun beams down on this track surface. Warm temperatures up into the mid-20s now.
On your marks.
Away they go, 12.5 laps to negotiate in this women's 5,000 meters final. It's our first track final of these World Under-20 Championships. It's a good field, 14 runners in all. Loban among them at the front of the pack in these early stages. And Murabayashi is also out there. The 2 Japanese have gone fairly close to the front. You look at the likes of Sarah Chelangat, who's further back in the field at the moment, staying out of any particular trouble. Good story about her at the World Championships in Nairobi was that she came out to run on a very wet night, and she had a plastic bag over her hair. She didn't want to get it wet.
I like that. Got to think of priorities.
No. I'm sure she checked the forecast out here. So the two Japanese working together a little bit. Takamatsu.
Yeah, this Japanese duo could be quite dangerous here. You know, there's a 15:31 PB from Bayashi, which could put a dent in this field. Obviously, they've talked before this and they have a plan, because this just doesn't happen by accident. They're obviously trying to inject some pace into this final and just see how the field will respond to this. It'll be interesting to see if we see the Kenyan athletes working together. Will the Ethiopian athletes work together? You know, 12 and a half laps is a long way.
It's a lot of time. It's a lot of time to think about it as well, and it's... So there's the test at the front. They're thinking, right, we're going to stretch you and see what we're going to do. So the two have opened up about a 5 to 10 meter kind of gap between them at the moment, but nobody at the moment showing any due concerns. But why would they, with 11 laps to go? But there is a strong field. This has always been an event that the Ethiopians and Kenyans have starred in. 14 years of domination since Dorcas Inzaghu of Uganda won the title in 2000. But it is the two Japanese athletes who have gone out at a pace.
They're not making much more of a gap, though. It's staying pretty solid for the past 300 meters. Now, Venter's the American athlete, is at the front of the chasing pack, and she hasn't closed too much on it, but it hasn't gotten bigger. Interesting move by the Japanese.
Yeah, Emily Venter's just at the front of the second back. But there's a very, very strong contingent of Kenyans and Ethiopians in the field. If you think about Beatrice Chebet, she's the Kenyan champion, the 18-year-old. And also Gurmawit Gebreziher was the national champion of Ethiopia. Beat Ejigehu Tai of Ethiopia in those national championships.
They've just come past us now in the commentary box, and I would say the gap has closed slightly. Not significantly, and you wonder, will the Japanese athletes take turns in leading this out? It doesn't look like that's going to be possible.
First 1,000 meters in 3 minutes and 7 seconds. Things have changed a little bit in the 5,000 meters final. We still have one of the two Japanese athletes at the front, but Bayashi, who's one of the leading athletes in the world this year, has rejoined the pack, having gone out very fast with Takamatsu. And now they are all really together as one as they hit the 1,600 meter mark at 5:03.
Oh, we've just had a fall. We just had the Kenyan athlete Logan just had a little bit of a knock. I don't think it's taken too much out of her, but she's getting herself back into it. You know, in a race this long, you have time to recover. We'll just see a replay here.
Just watch this at the right side of the pitch, and she actually, well spotted, Double. She actually went down there, didn't she?
Yeah, you hope she didn't catch her hamstring on. She doesn't look totally comfortable. She's just coming past us in the commentary box.
8 laps to go, and yeah, she's at the back of that group. She is the highest ranked runner in the field on form this year.
I have to say, Bayashi, the Japanese athlete that we saw right at the start of the race, she does not look comfortable at all. For a 15:31 athlete, she's trailed way off now, and I don't think we'll see her contending at all in this.
No, she has fallen well out of the pitch. She's way off the back now in a little group of two that are, well, 30 meters behind at least this front group, which are still led by Takamatsu, her fellow countrywoman from Japan, along with Venters. But you can see the Ethiopian and the Kenyans just starting to pile up behind that pair. They're 2,000 meters through now at 6 minutes and 21 seconds. And they are all poised and very comfortable at the moment. We're not even at the halfway stage, remember, but the likes of Chalangat, Chebet, Gebreziher and Tai are all in there and all perfectly happy to just sit tight and choose their moment. Chalangat on the left of picture now, the yellow vest of Uganda.
Ty, the Ethiopian athlete, just to the right of her as you look at the screen, looks super comfortable. She's just tipping along. She looks like she's working nowhere near as hard as Venters, the American athlete, who's putting in a really good effort here, but Ty looks very comfortable. Yeah, she's just covering that break from her Ethiopian competitor.
And here goes the 18-year-old Beatrice Chebet moving into the front, the Kenyan champion. Narrowly missed out on the medals at home in the World Under-18s last year, which would have been a disappointment for her. Such was the scene and the drama of Kasarani. Edged out to 4th place over 3,000 meters, but in 2nd place at the moment in this 5,000 meters final. And they are at the halfway mark, effectively, as they come round towards the front straight of the track in front of the covered tribune here. Little wind blowing across, a few more clouds bubbling around in the distance. Tai of Ethiopia is sitting there in front at the moment. She was beaten to the title by Gebrselassie, who is also up there, and in fact has just moved alongside her now. Lubin is still having some bumps and bruises along the way, and now she's getting herself also into a position that maybe is more comfortable for her, with 6 laps to go in this 5,000 meters final.
It looks like Lubin was trying to say something to her teammate, and she just got a little bit distracted there, but you know, she needs to stay sharp here, because this is a world final, you know. You don't want to throw away your chance of being world champion by getting a little bit distracted in the middle of the race.
This is ominous, isn't it? There are 2 Ethiopians, 2 Kenyans, and a Ugandan. And
the Japanese athlete
Takamatsu, who's 15:45.79, is a kind of pace that she will have to show some improvement on this year. She's to keep pace with these athletes as they go through 2,800 meters now, and the big names are starting to gather. Well, it's still a fairly composed and fairly slow pace really at the moment. No one's willing to make a break. Back to the early stages of the race, where the 2 Japanese went out very fast. Incidentally, the other Japanese athlete, who much was expected of, Murabayashi, is right at the rear of the field, way behind. Yeah. They have 5 laps to go, and still, well, it's a waiting game in many ways. We go back to the 5,000 meters final. The last bit was 3:13.80. They're averaging the leaders around 3:11 per 1,000 meters. So that's going to bring them in a reasonable 15-minute pace, but it's not the fastest final we're going to see here. With 4 laps to go now in this 5,000 meters. And they have essentially just slowed down a little bit as the main contenders have gone to the front, and now they're just starting to move a little bit. Now the pace is picking up and it's stretching.
None of the main contenders seem to want to kick for home. They're just happy to go along. You know, they'll come around with 3 laps to go, and someone's going to have to make a decision at some point to try and win this and make a decisive move.
Well, Tay of Ethiopia has struck for the front at the moment. Loban has gone with her, and Chilangat of Uganda is there as well. Don't discount Chebet sitting in 4th, and it's a front 5 really at the moment, because Beatrice Chebet is up with them as well, the Kenyan champion. So these 5 now are potentially turning this into a race within a race. The others are struggling to keep pace.
You see Taya there just looking up at the screen, trying to see, right, who is still coming with me. She'll be confident in the fact that she has beaten Chebet and Logan before. She may not be faster on paper, but she knows she has beaten them in the past.
3 laps to go, 5,000 meters final. Some of the others being left behind, the likes of Kaylee Logue, the Iowa State freshman from the United States, now dropping off, unable to keep pace with that front 5. I think we're going to no doubt see our winner come from that group. It seems almost certain now, as Tay takes her Ethiopian Gebrselassie with her. Chebet in 3rd, Loban in 4th, and Chilangat is there as well. So It's shaping up to be an African battle between the two Ethiopians, the two Kenyans, and Chelangat of Uganda, with 1,000 meters to go now in this first track final, the 5,000 meters final, and Tay leads the way.
They're going to be thinking, right, how much can I kick? At what point do I want to kick from? You know, they'll be aware of each other as racers. They've competed against each other in the past, and all of that will be playing into their decisions here. I think Tay looks really comfortable still. You see her just glancing up to the left. She's using the big screens in the stadium to give her an idea of what's going on behind her, who's with her, and just taking that information and possibly making some decisions around that with her race plan.
It certainly isn't going to be about times,
no.
But they have got quicker. The last split, the last 1,000 meters, they did in 3:04.86, led through by Tay. And you can see the gap now, really well illustrated by our cameras across this stadium. 5 at the front now, and it's going to come from this group, and Tay still looks comfortable, but Loban has run well this year. I mentioned she's the world leader, but largely actually based in Japan these days. 600 meters to go, and Chebet is sitting tight in there as well. Maybe Chelangat is now starting to struggle as 4 move away.
Deborah Zahar is also sitting in there as well. You know, she looks like she could still get involved in this.
The crowd are getting into it as well on this home straight in the main tribune.
There's only 3 medals, so 4 does not go into 3, so they're going to have to, 1 lap to go, one person's going to miss out the podium. Who will it be?
And who has got the kick? Who has got a break in them? Who's still got something left in the tank? A front 4. Chelangat's dropped away in 5th. It's going to come from that group now.
Loban looks like she's trying to go, but it just didn't happen for her.
She's pulling up. Loban has pulled up completely.
Chebet.
So the front 3 now have got it in their hands, the podium places, but which order? Loban's in real trouble.
They've broken Loban, so now it's just 3 kicking for home. You've got Tay, you've got Chebet.
It's 2 Ethiopians, it's 1 Kenyan. Chebet sandwiched in the middle of the 2 of them with 200 meters to go in this 5,000 meters final. Tay with Chebet on her shoulder. Deborah Zahar, I don't think is going to be able to keep pace. She's starting to labour a little. Can't work those legs any quicker. The shoulder's dropping. Home straight. Here comes the Kenyan. Chebet's got a kick, and Tay can't go with her at the moment. Chebet of Kenya is striding away. She's heading down the home straight. A last kick from Tay, but it's not enough, and Kenya has gold. Ethiopia silver, and Ethiopian bronze as well. But Beatrice Chebet, the Kenyan champion, world champion, 15:30.78, and once again African domination in the 5,000 meters.
Chebet, who was 4th last year in Nairobi, has now come out and become world champion. This will mean a huge amount to her, putting that pain of being off the podium behind her, and just what a kick in the last 100 meters to take the title. Superb. The gold goes back to Kenya.
Still the finishers coming in. There's Zhao of China. Well, we said from quite early on that it wasn't going to be a particularly fast race, 15:30. I mean, these runners have gone a lot quicker this year. But this is World Championships. This is about the glory. This is about winning.
You know, it's about making the right decisions and seeing what's in the legs and just being brave a lot of the time. And Chebet ran a great race. She stayed in there the whole time. She'll be absolutely incredibly proud of that. I'm sure everybody back in Kenya will be incredibly proud of her. Look at the emotion from 4th to 1st. What a great first champion here.
A great moment for the 18-year-old, and also very good, of course, for the Ethiopians. And there's one of the early front runners of the first few laps. Unsure really what happened to Murabayashi, but a great effort by her to come in because she clearly was struggling. So great credit to her that she saw the race through and came across the line, and the crowd showed great respect to her as well. 15:30 for Chebet is a personal best mark for her, even though it's well down the list of fastest times this year.
She is absolutely delighted with that. You can see how proud she is running around there with her massive Kenyan flag, spikes in her hand. You know, this is an incredible moment from her, and we'll hopefully see her in the years to come on the senior circuit and really just using this as a big stepping stone. You know, she will always be world champion now.
Yes, that flag sheltering her from the sunlight beaming down, and a broad smile. There was real raw emotion there at the finish.
We were having a chat the other day with the Kenyan coaches, and they were giving us nothing away. We were trying to find out what kind of shape the girls were in, but they were keeping it all to themselves, and I can see why. They didn't want us to be telling anybody that Chibet was ready to go.
Yeah. Loban obviously had a problem. I mean, she was comfortably the fastest on paper. She's run 15:12 this year, and some have gone as fast as 15:05 in this event. But Loban really struggled at the latter stages and dropped out of it basically with 300 to go.
Yeah, with 300 to go, it just looked like Loban tried to make a move with 400 to go, and somewhere between 400 and 300, she just broke, and it didn't pay off for her. But you know what? She's a teenager. She'll learn from this. She'll congratulate her teammate, and she'll go away and try and come back a better athlete.
And there it is. Chebet running to gold. Tay tried to keep with her. She just couldn't quite find that last bit of acceleration. The Ethiopians have a silver and a bronze on this first day of these World Under-20 Championships.
You can see how much the silver meant to Tay as well, you know. This is a huge, huge championships, and, you know, the emotion from Chibet and the happiness from Tay there, it's really, really great to see that here this evening for our first medals in the stadium here in Tampere. Chibet just full of joy. And, you know, that's what athletics should be about. It should be about the sheer love of it. You know, obviously it gets a bit more serious as you get a bit older,
And here's the result of the women's 5,000 metres final. Gold for Kenya, Beatrice Chebet in 15:30.77. It was a personal best mark for her, and the Ethiopians take the silver and bronze.